Hi guys! Point Horror Book Club chat. Welcome, welcome. How are we all doing today? So today we're going to be talking about Nightmare Hall, The Silent Scream, which is, hi Dustin, I'll add you in a second. Hi Cat. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about Nightmare Hall, Silent Scream, which is the first Nightmare Hall book in the series. I really enjoyed it. It was lots of fun. Spoilers ahead for this book, just to warn you. And tonight I'm joined by a really special guest. I'm so excited. I've got the brilliant Dustin from Dustin Can Read. I don't know if you can see, I've done it quite high. I've got my gorgeous little pin badge from Dustin, and then he sent me these a while back and I kind of kept them. So Dustin's joining us. So Dustin Can Read. He runs a brilliant podcast, which is now Dustin Can Read and Dustin Can Watch. And he sent me these goodies a while ago for taking part in an original story that he wrote, which was absolutely brilliant. So it was a Fear Street parody called The Listener, and he kind of sent me these as a little thank you, so thank you Dustin. But yeah, do check Dustin out. So hi Oliver. Hi Sarah. Hi Karen. I'll just add the main guest in if it works. I'm always nervous if it does work. Let's have a little work. Dustin, hello.
Hey, I got my book right here. Hey.
Yay! How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
I got my little pin badge on. I don't know whether you saw, but it's quite high.
I know. I was like, whoa, that's going to shake your neck a little bit, I'm sure.
I had to have you there so people could see it. It's so cool. So thanks for joining us. So we're going to be talking about this book. So you've got a slightly different cover.
Yes.
So you've got the American, the US version.
Yeah, I have the second printing of it because originally it was like a window and you would only see the rope, and then you open it up and you would see her body on the floor. But I got the different. I just got the one that's all because it looks like it's like 3 feet off the floor in this picture. Like how short is she?
But yeah, they were so different. They really changed the covers over here. So all our Nightmare Hall ones are all like different colours and stuff. But I kind of like the US versions a bit better than the UK one. But
yeah, because each one's looking through a window. I love that.
Yeah, and I like that. Ours have just got like some type of graphic on there.
I have the second one too, the roommate, and that's what this one looks like.
Ah, yeah. I love that with the windows. It's so good. Really like that. So yeah, thanks for joining us. So I'm going to always ask everyone why they like point horror or what got you into point horror. Can you remember?
Yes. Well, I didn't even know about point horror until a couple of years ago. So it wasn't as big in the States. It was here, but it wasn't as big. Just like Fear Street wasn't as big over there, but it was bigger over here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was for my other podcast that I was on before the one I'm on, and I just started. We read a couple of them, and I just thought, well, I love how melodramatic they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just it's slashery kind of, but little murder mysteries and stuff like that. I just like the gothic feel. It's very similar to Fear Street in that it gives you that that suburban feeling. Gothic feeling. Yeah.
Sorry
if I'm yelling, by the way. I tend to get loud. I don't know why.
Oh no, you're not yelling. No problem. It's normally me. I'm normally like with my cackle laugh. So like over here we didn't get much Fear Street, which I know I've said to you before, and point horror was like crazy big over here. So I think we got the point horrors, and you got the Fear Street, I think.
Pretty much.
So yeah. So spoilers ahead for Nightmare Hall, The Silent Scream. If you've got any comments, just pop them up and I will try and read them out. So I'll do a little summary. So the tagline for this book was "Where college is a scream," and I really like that. I really think it sets the the tone. Is that on your book, Dustin? Does it say that
No,
tagline?
no, it doesn't have a
No.
tagline.
Oh, you gotta have a
Yeah,
tagline.
we don't have one on ours.
Oh, that's so sad. They must have just put them on these ones then. But yeah, it says where college is a scream, and it definitely was a scream at good old Nightingale Hall.
A silent scream.
A silent scream. So yeah, quick summary then. It's quite hard to summarise because a lot goes on in this book in a short space of time.
Well, no, it's actually not even a short space of time. It seems like weeks go by, but I don't know.
Do you think? I don't know. I was a bit like, mind you, they did get to the fall ball, so yeah, perhaps it was a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So summarise the town of Twin Falls with its meandering river, its red brick post office, and the hip place to be, burgers, etc. Is about to get crazy. Grab your I is a college freshman t-shirt and away we go. So a group of students, Jess, Ian, John, Cath, Linda and Milo, who are all starting Salem University. They can't afford to stay on campus, so decide to take up digs at Nightingale Hall, with Mrs. Coates being their housemother and Trucker being the handyman. But soon they find out people have nicknamed the house on the hillside Nightmare Hall due to the recent events that have taken place there. So a young girl called, now I don't know whether I'm saying this right, so I'm saying Giselle, but how is everyone else pronouncing
I say
this
Giselle.
name? Giselle. I think you're probably right. I don't think I was right, but we'll go with Giselle.
Okay.
So a young girl called Giselle McKendrick committed suicide in her bedroom, or suicide, in her bedroom at Nightingale Hall, which so happens to be the bedroom with a cold chill that Jess now occupies. So when the housemother of Nightingale Hall has a somewhat sporadic accident, the gang are determined to be all grown up, look after themselves and have a ruddy good time. And basically spend a lot of time in the kitchen, because they seem to be in the kitchen quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're growing kids.
Yeah. And in the fridge, they were in the fridge like loads getting food.
Right.
But thanks to some strange goings on, including weird screaming at night, a ghostly photograph, things going missing, someone sneaking in and out of people's bedrooms, getting locked in the cellar, and a strange worm encounter that would put anyone on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I don't know whether you get that in America or not. It's like a TV show. Do you get that over there?
Which show? I'm sorry, I had a little blip.
That's all right. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Don't know whether
Yes,
it's
we
an
had
English show.
we have it. I don't know if it's active right now. I know we had it at some point. I don't know if it's a current show. But.
Yeah. So basically that worm incident was a bit like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. So something is going awry in Nightingale Hall. So Jess soon starts to think that maybe Giselle's death was not a suicide, and maybe someone was responsible for her death and is now trying to cover their tracks, terrify all her housemates, and actually try to kill Jess in the process. So yes, a lot's going on in this book. Yeah. So let's talk about Jess. So
okay.
Our main girl, Jess. So she was the hall monitor. I think she was a bit of a better example of a point horror girl than unusual point horror girls.
Yeah,
She
she wasn't helpless. You know what I mean? But she was like, I'm going to investigate. I'm not giving up, even though people try to gaslight her throughout the book saying, oh, that's not what you thought it was. And she's like, I don't know. This doesn't seem right. And she's really snarky too. She has like inner monologue stuff she thinks about people all the time.
I loved her inner monologue. It was like brilliant. Such like a dry sense of humour.
Yes. She said one thing when she was talking about, or she was thinking about Milo. And here's the quote. It says, Milo was so quiet, she'd had better conversations with toast. Just stupid little things like that. Just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
I think there was one as well. I don't know who she was talking about. Probably John, I'm going to guess. But it was something like, maybe somebody with more depth than a bed sheet can take his place. And I was like, yes!
Damn, yeah. And at one point, she's wearing a shirt that her sister gave to her, but it's still funny. And it's, I is a college freshman.
I
don't know.
love that. Oh,
yeah, I like that she had a sense of humor.
Yeah. She was great. And then I think this might have been about John as well. She said he probably couldn't function more than 5 minutes without a mirror. It's just
he probably couldn't, though. That's the truth, though.
That's very true. But I just thought she was great. I just thought, like, I just loved all that snarkiness that she had, that she said on the inside, and we could all read about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and what I liked as well was when we had a description of her, we found out quite a lot, even how tall she was, which for a point horror, you normally don't.
It was very detailed, yeah.
It was very detailed.
But there were details about everybody. Like, everybody got a pretty good description of themselves. It was very specific.
Yeah. And she was very self-assured as well. Like, she knew what she wanted. She didn't like men that were too good looking. So that's why she went for Ian.
Well, he does have long hippie hair. I don't know what the deal with that was. And the gap in his teeth.
I kind of loved Ian. I've got like a whole little bit about Ian. Is that really bad?
Something about him bothered me. I don't know. But keep going. Sorry.
No. I can't wait to get to that now.
I don't know. I can tell you now. He was just, I don't know. He was just a little too. He came in saying, "I'm here for the fishing," but he never fished.
Yeah, it's sort of transferred to Milo, the fishing.
Yeah, what was that about? I'm here for the. He said it several times in the beginning. I'm here for the fishing, and then he's over here photography for the paper. Like, where did that come from? And then he has long hippie hair. He's got the gap in his teeth, and then he gaslights her. Something like, "Will you just let that go? I'm like, why are you bossing her around? Like, if you had nothing to do with it, I don't know. I just didn't. He rubbed me the wrong way.
I don't know. I kind of liked. The whole don't know what this says about me really, but I kind of liked like their first kiss, because it kind of reminded me of like Nick and Jess in New Girl, that kind of like nothing will ever beat that kiss really. But if you've seen New Girl, I know you have, Dustin, because we've spoke about New Girl.
Oh yeah.
But it kind of reminded me of that. So I think I wrote it down somewhere. He put like, I forgot something, and kissed her, and then he just was like, sleep tight.
Yeah, it was really weird. Okay. And but then I didn't like how he kept putting off asking her to the fall ball, and it was very obvious that's the way they were headed, and he was just kind of, it's like he was playing with her, and like, just ask her already.
Ra just put, I wasn't keen on Ian either. And then Cath's put, didn't like Ian. He kept calling her kid. Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh.
Yeah, he did. He was
might have gone off him a little bit.
Yeah, he just kind of spoke down to her like he was above it all or something.
Yeah, Emma's put Ian was a bit creepy. Yeah, in hindsight, I might be with you. And I didn't like the way he asked her to go to the fall ball either. I was like, no. I think it was something like, I want you to go to that dance, and then like kind of forced it upon her. And,
it wasn't, hey, would you like to go with me? It was like, we were going to go together. Like it's almost like he was telling her this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't know.
It was, and then he did that creepy line like,
that's a doomed relationship, okay? They're only freshmen in college. It's fine.
He did like a really creepy line, because she was like, oh, it sounds like you're giving me a prescription, and he was like, Dr. Banyan at your service. And I was a bit like, no.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
No. But Ian did like his popcorn, though. He liked popcorn breaks, and like he was going like bang on the doors and get.
That was so funny how he was like, hey, let's have a popcorn party. I'm like, are we in grade school? Like, This sounds like for something little kids would do. They get a reward for being good in class, and like, oh, Friday we're gonna have a popcorn party, with some soda and some popcorn, and maybe we'll watch part of a movie at the end of the day. I don't know. Did you guys
No,
ever do
yeah.
that? We did that a lot in our grade
I
school.
still, to be fair, I still do have little popcorn parties.
That's okay, but not from like I don't know. It just felt really weird. Like
Yeah,
for
it's normally like on my own, but I still I still have a popcorn party. But yeah, no, I did kind of like him, but he was kind of cringy and a bit. Yeah, now you've like said he was a bit weird actually. Because I was like, oh, he came down to the river at the end to try and save her, even though she'd like sorted it all out herself, and yeah, but really, he just turned up too late, didn't
yeah,
they?
pretty much.
Yeah. So back to Jess, just quick.
Right.
So that whole worm in the drawers incident, where she was touching something warm and smooth. It was worms.
Oh, it was worms.
What did you make of that? Like, would you have been that scared of worms?
Well, I mean, if you didn't know what you're putting your hand on and it was moving, at first, but I think it was her sweaters were on top and she hadn't moved them on top yet, which, she had her t-shirts and then she had her sweaters. And I'm like, okay. And she opened up her drawer and the sweaters were already up on top. She's like, what's going on? And she needed another t-shirt or something. So she reaches her hand in and then there's worms everywhere. What was that about? Like, why worms?
I mean, how did, spoiler for the villain here, but how did Trucker know that she was scared of worms? Because that never came up anywhere.
I don't know I don't know if she was scared of them. She just felt that it was so sudden and off-putting. She's like, and they're all over her clothes. There's probably dirt in there too. It's got to be, it's all slimy and gross. And you don't know what you're putting your hand, like that little blindfold game where you're like, oh, what's this? And it's grapes. Oh no, it's eyeballs. Peeled grapes.
Yeah.
It's just, and then you got spaghetti. Oh, it's worms. But it's just still gross. It's about texture, not knowing. She couldn't see it, so all she could feel it, and then she heard, that kind of. Ugh.
To be fair,
and that's more
I
about the
think
creepy crawlies, not like.
Yeah, I would have screamed, definitely. I'm being a bit unfair on Jess there. I think I would have screamed the house down too.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, why didn't she say anything to anybody else?
Yeah.
She never told anybody about it. It was just like, it was only Trucker. And was it Ian or was it Milo?
Ian, I think. Yeah, Ian.
I kept getting Ian and Milo mixed up sometimes. I don't know why.
But I think Ian kind of like came in. He's like, "Oh, I'll take you out" or something. She was like, "Yes, get me out of this room" or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think Trucker was there. I think he like dropped his shovel outside and came running in or something like that and carried the drawer out with his muscles.
Yeah, how big? That drawer was heavy. I'm like, how big was that drawer? The two of them had to carry it.
I know. I could imagine that whole scene. Like he was described, Trucker, as like a well-muscled person, and then he was like struggling with this drawer, and I'm like, whoa! Why didn't you just empty the drawer?
I mean, a dresser drawer is usually like not, but maybe I think the longest maybe 2.5, 3 feet long.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's a good sized dresser drawer, but nothing that needs two people. Like
no.
I thought
that
was really strange.
Point have a challenge there. See if you can carry safely
a dresser drawer outside, dump it out on the lawn. No, don't do that. Like,
no, don't. No. we don't condone that for health and safety reasons and possible worms.
Yeah, because then you'll end up with worms in your yeah, that would suck.
Oh no! Oh God, this has took a turn. Karen's book. Did you spot the traditional absence of parental figures? Pushed down the stairs within 5 minutes. Oh.
I did, and you know what? Okay, so this went over a span of weeks. How long? She just dislocated her hip. She didn't break it.
No.
So how long was she supposed to be resting for? Like a month? Like
yeah.
That's a long time. How old is she? Like
yeah. I mean, she was described as elderly, wasn't she, Mrs. Coates? And with girth, which just, I went in a very different
Yeah.
place. But that's how she was described.
And suddenly, you know, she's at the top of the stairs and suddenly she's falling down the stairs just a little bit, not even that far. And she's like, I don't know why I fell. She just all of a sudden fell.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
with the
did the
pink
ghost
rollers.
try to push her down the stairs for some reason? Like, did she just not like Mrs. Coates? Like,
where was Trucker when she fell down the stairs?
I know. Did he trip her? Did
That's what I'm wondering.
something rigged up like a fishing line and she tripped over? I don't know.
But yeah, oh, bless her. And we didn't hear about her again. We don't even know if she's okay.
I know. She doesn't even return by the end.
Right? Oh, bless. And like, she had all these like antiques, didn't she? And Milo was like, it's just junk.
Oh my God.
Like, oh, Milo.
It's priceless to her, Milo. No.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say Milo, when I was reading his physical description, he kind of sounded like me a little bit. My eyes aren't like brilliant blue, but they're gray blue, so.
Oh, I really did. I loved Milo. I really, really loved him. So just quickly, Narissa's put about, I think this was about Ian. He seems like one of those douchey guys who string lots of girls along in Freshers Week first semester. Yeah.
He does. Because he was flirting with some other girls, apparently, at some point, too.
Yeah, Oh, I've really gone off him now. I was all like, yay, Ian. And now I'm like, no, boo, Ian.
Mob mentality.
So, Milo, let's chat about Milo, because he was kind of an interesting character. So he was like the misunderstood geek who had a skill for drawing intricate I can't say it, designs on toast with a jelly knife. That's a skill. But yeah, apparently he was very tall, very cute, very thin, pale face, long beige hair that needed combing and trimming, and brilliant blue eyes with wire-rimmed glasses. Yeah, I liked Milo.
He kind of seemed snobby at first, and he was there for the fishing too, apparently. But
yeah, it's so random. But he liked writing poetry by the riverbanks. It was where he did his best work.
Oh my God, it was so. He's such a poser.
Oh dear. So we find out, don't we, with Milo, that he was friends with Giselle in high school.
Or just before, like at the start of high school, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously we don't find that out until Giselle's brother turns up to pick up her things. So we kind of kept it secret. I wrote it down. What was
I have it highlighted in here somewhere.
Avery
McKendrick,
right. Yeah. Who went down that cellar and never came back up.
Yeah, we never saw him again. He was like, I gave him for the trunk, and he's gone.
Gone. I was kind of hoping when Jess got stuck in that cellar that, she kept saying, like, she kept feeling like a rag on the floor with a foot or something. I thought, oh, what if it's like the dead body of Avery? I was kind of hoping there'd be like a twist. But no. But you never know. He could still be down there. You never know. But yeah, so he was friends with Giselle, and then, as he said, like, she was a big deal, he wasn't. End of story, kind of thing.
Right.
But he was like the classic red herring, really, wasn't he? And he was being stitched up. Did you ever think it could be Milo at all?
Yeah, but it just kept feeling too obvious. Like, I was like, yeah, that does sound like Milo, but I was like, no, it's got to be Ian. It's got to be Ian, And but I was like, maybe they're making it out to be. I was like, oh, who could it be? And of course, then I was like, or it's John, or whatever. But yeah, Milo, it seemed a little too easy. Like everything was falling into place a little too fast. So I didn't go with him. No, I didn't think it was going to be him.
No. I've got a lot of love for Milo, like in the comments.
Yeah.
So Emma's put she liked Milo, and I don't get why Milo didn't mention that he knew Giselle. Yeah, I don't, because why was it such a big secret? Or maybe he was just hurting because their friendship broke up, or something
Well,
like
they
that.
did say that he was a loner and he didn't really like to talk to people
Mm.
much. So I'm sure if he brought it up, they would be asking him a whole bunch of questions he didn't feel like answering.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. Especially like in that party scenario on the porch on the first night as well.
yeah,
It's not really something you want to be talking about. Um, Eddie's videos put, I want to know why Milo decided to stay at the place his friend committed suicide. Like, really? That is a point. That never got explained.
yeah.
'Cause
I
you
think
would
he
have
says like, "Oh, then I
known.
found out she stayed here," and I'm like, "How would you not know? Like that would be something." You know, I just feel like you should know where this girl. She was
Yeah.
popular. Everybody knew everything about her. So I mean,
Mm,
you guys weren't friends, but you should know something about her. I'm sure, about where she went to
yeah.
school.
Yeah. No, definitely. I completely agree with that. Karen's put she loved Milo. He was a cute, wee, introverted book nerd. Yeah, I really liked him as well. It was the books that had me. As soon as he was like talking about the date at the library, I was like, oh yes. Last time I went on a date at the library, I brought 16 books back. So yeah, but yeah, as soon as he mentioned about taking Linda on this library date, I was like, yeah, I'm in love. I'm in love with Milo. I was a goner. I think Milo was secretly researching how his ex-bestie died. Ah, Karen. Okay, so you think he was doing his own investigation work?
That's
Oh,
possible.
that's interesting. Yeah. Mm. Um, yeah, so I'm just sorry, I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, lots of love for Milo. Oh, that's really sweet. I'm so glad people liked him as well. He was described as being like off centre,
Yeah.
but I really liked him. And like, but then he left the house because of all that drama that went on. And like poor Linda, she was like heartbroken. Like her little Milo was
Linda was
leaving.
hard up, man. She didn't date all through high school, and
Yeah,
she was like, "I've got a thing." She was like, "Well, she doesn't like jocks, obviously, 'cause she thought they were snobby and whatnot."
yeah.
So, but she liked Milo because he was a quiet type, I guess.
Mm,
And she was all about, and he didn't really show much interest in her at all.
no,
She was chasing
no.
after him, like, "Girl, have some self-respect." Like,
Oh, I did feel sorry for Linda. She did get my sympathy, really,
oh yeah,
because I don't know that she did get my sympathy, but I did think it was her that was going to be the reveal.
oh you did,
Yeah, I thought it was going to be her. Like, if anyone else thought it was going to be Linda, please let me know. Because by the end, because I thought I remembered this book, but when I got to the end, I realised I didn't. But I thought it's going to be Linda. It's going to be Linda. I'm convinced it's her. And then obviously it wasn't. And then in hindsight, I was like, oh, how could I think it was Linda?
yeah. But I mean, it did kind of, it felt weird that everything that was happening in people's rooms was usually only the girls.
Yeah, that was weird. Only the
So I
girls
thought,
as well.
something's going on with the women, and plus, Giselle died, so she was a girl too. So maybe
Mm.
something in the house was always going after girls. I didn't know. I thought that might have been it too.
Yeah, I did pick up that it was only happening to the girls, but with the reveal at the end and the backstory,
All right.
it kind of doesn't surprise me because he was a little bit of a. I want to say he was a bit of a groomer. I know that sounds like weird, but he like basically. I will get on to Trucker in a minute because I've got so much to say about him, but. I understand why he was targeting the girls because that's the type of person he seemed to come across as at the end.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it wasn't right. He should have targeted some of the boys as well. Not very fair. Karen's put she thought it was Linda. It's all that urban legend movie's fault. I think that's why I thought it was her. I thought it was going to be some like psycho
Urban
at the
Legend
end.
actually turned out to be a good tie-in with this book because
Yeah,
it
it
kind of
really
felt
did.
like it could have taken
Yeah.
place on that campus.
Yeah, because you suggested Urban Legend for our movie chat to go in the poll, so thank you for that because it tied in so brilliantly. I'm glad it won. Um, So yeah, Linda was Camp Fear's killer. Oh, sorry, spoilers for Camp Fear. So Linda was Camp Fear's killer. So that's maybe why we was thinking it was going to be Linda, maybe. Or I'm just not very good at guessing these things. Yeah, so Linda did have long hair. Yeah, she did. It was like kind of blonde with like a green
Hmm.
tinge from the chlorine.
Yes, yeah, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and poor Linda in a bathing suit as well. Um, all getting all chopped
Everything
up
was
and
expensive at this college. I mean, everything's expensive in college anyway. But
yeah, yeah. But what I didn't understand, so do it's got to have been Trucker who did Linda's bathing suit, and obviously it was all to stitch Milo up so that it took the heat off Trucker. But I don't know, there's something weird about that bathing suit. It's like going through people's things is one thing, like putting letters or photographs in people's books is another, but actually physically cutting up someone's bathing suit is like next level of
I know,
like,
hey, let me just screw her chances of like
yeah,
continuing at this school because she can't
yeah,
afford a second bathing suit. And if she doesn't swim, she loses her scholarship. And
yeah,
why are you trying to
exactly.
screw up her whole life? She didn't do anything to you.
But it's like, why? Like, it didn't actually make sense. Like, that had no relevance to him trying to hide what he was trying to hide, if that
Right.
makes sense. I was a bit like confused over that, but I
And
thought it was
considering
just
she
me.
liked Milo, I guess he just wanted to turn all the girls against Milo.
Yeah, and obviously she had a thing for Milo. Yeah, so yeah, could have been that. Could have been that. Um, and then I love the way as well. Linda and Cath hated each other, and like Linda calls Cath a witch and stuff like that.
Well, Kath's
Um,
really high strung, so
Yeah, yeah. So Cath, who loved to study, um, and she wouldn't know fun if it bit her, apparently. Not my words, they were in the book. But the old house gave her the creeps. She loved a good sweater. I mean, who doesn't like a good sweater? So I was with her there. And she had like small, white, perfect teeth, and she had like long, dark, curly hair that spilled over her shoulders. And she was like always tense and anxious, wasn't she? And she had
well,
very
she's
strict
always worried about
parents.
I need to study. I need to get all this right. I need to do this. My parents, I have one point I marked down. She said she was gonna if she didn't study or get A's, then her parents were gonna have his and hers heart attacks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, whoa, that's like a whole another level of strict parenting. But yeah, she was. I think they described Kath as like being strung tighter than a violin or something like that at one point, and she did come across like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kat's put Kath was my second pick for the killer after Ian. Oh, interesting. After Ian. But yeah, and she loses it big time, like big time over that missing essay paper,
Right.
and obviously accuses Milo. Um, and then I think Jess says something like, "Oh, Cath, I thought something was trying to kill you, and you're screaming just over a missing paper." And it's like to Cath, that's such a big thing. Like,
Well, yeah, that's like her whole world. See, he was really
mm,
trying to screw with everybody's like college, like the girls especially.
yeah,
Well, mainly Kath and Linda, because Kath got a bad grade that she was going to be on the outs with her parents. If Linda didn't swim, she was going to be basically out of the school. And he
mm.
was really just messing with their lives and their livelihood, I guess.
Yeah, he was really going after the girls, wasn't he? Really, really was. But yeah, Kath was like super hard on herself, I thought. I felt sorry for her again. Um, and I think like her hate for Linda, that whole scene where like her and Linda have that big like explosion of an argument, and I think Linda like says, "Oh, you came." It was when the mirror smashes, and
Mm.
obviously nearly kills them with like the dagger shards of glass, and they kind of accuse Kath of like climbing out of her window, round the fire escape to like throw something at the mirror just at the point that obviously Linda bends over and misses all the line of fire.
That's very dedicated. I'm gonna hit her with some glass.
Just right at the right moment as well.
As soon as she ducks down, there's a warning. No.
Yeah. But and obviously they go then into Cath's room and she's like, try the window. It's been stuck all week and I haven't been able to open it. I've been sweating in this heat. And then they go, it just opens. And I was like, oh dear. Did she do it? Did she?
No, I knew there was definitely a ghost in the house. Definitely.
Yeah.
It just, you know what I mean? Like all the stuff, like the coldness of the room, the stuff that Jess saw when she woke up, you know, the body hanging. Just anytime they mentioned suicide, something would fall or a window pane would slam or something would happen. The cellar door would swing open, that kind of stuff. There was definitely a ghost in the house. I knew that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was like there was definitely a presence there and definitely trying to give them a warning on who was maybe doing all the stuff. But you just mentioned about when Jess saw, I think it was in the middle of the night, and then she saw like a shadow hanging down, and I think she kind of screams, and that whole scene kind of made me laugh because at that point she screams, you get a snippet into what each of the roommates are doing. Right. So I think it's something like Linda.
It felt like Clue.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So Jess screams, and then like Linda was blissfully dreaming about Milo. Ian was reading at his desk. John had slipped out of the house partying, and Cath was wrapped cocoon-like in a quilt and didn't wake up because she'd pulled an all-nighter. But I kind of liked that. It's just that little snippet, like you say, like Clue. Like, what were they all doing at that
exactly.
point? And I love that. I thought that was quite clever. And then
I think she did that a couple times. I think DIANE HOH wrote that a couple times when, at the same time, this is what was going on in the house.
Yeah,
you know,
and I really liked that.
I did too.
Yeah, I thought it gave it a really good feel. But Cath was absolutely vile to Linda. I couldn't forgive her for the comment saying, "You should be relieved, Linda. This is about her bathing suit. Those suits are the ugliest things I've ever seen, even on people with good figures." And I thought that was like a low blow.
I know.
At Linda in an indirect way, and I was like, ooh, yeah, it was a bit.
Harsh. I bet you Linda could kick your ass, Cath. She's an athlete, you know. Yeah. You're a bookworm.
Yeah.
One of you's got to be stronger.
Linda was really tall as well, because she was like going mad that Milo was tall as well, and she could wear heels around Milo. So,
but Cath had that rich girl cockiness.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like, well, you're not gonna be able to do anything to me. It's like, bet I can. Sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
the rich can't write checks that they're not going to be able to cash, you know?
Yeah. I kind of like how there was all that mix of all the kind of characters that we would expect. Like the rich person, the snobby person, the athlete. And I really like that. I thought that was really good. Oh, yeah, with the ghost stuff as well. The muddy footprints was really interesting. That really baffled Jess's mind on how she spent quite a while trying to figure out how they got up the stairs.
I still don't understand why there was muddy footprints, though.
I do think that was Trucker. I don't think that was.
But didn't they disappear? They kind of just.
Oh yeah, they did disappear.
So unless she was just trying to say somebody who always goes down to the river or the creek bank or whatever. It's the only thing I could think of. Like.
Yeah. Karen's put, I mean, if she can leave footprints and shadows, why not just write a note in steam in the bathroom?
Something.
That's so true. So true.
Why didn't the ghost just push Trucker down the stairs?
Yeah, instead of poor Mrs. Coates. No. Not on, Ghosty. Not on. Well, I'll just put Cath had a bad attitude. I didn't like her. Yeah, she did have a bad attitude, but I think she was like just constantly tired, to be honest, because she was always pulling like all-nighters and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cath had parental PTSD from being told to be perfect. Yeah, yeah. I think
Hmm.
Linda had that to a certain extent as well. With her parents always expecting Linda the athlete, and all she wanted to do was have like a date, and so
Well,
poor
that's why they butted
Linda.
heads so much, Kath and Linda, because they both were dedicated to what they came there for. And
Yeah,
but they were so much alike in that regards that they most likely they butted heads a lot harder, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that is definitely why. Emma's put Kath was really stressed. She was so stressed, so stressed. Um, and then of course,
Hi.
last hi Amy. Last but by no means least, other than the villain, we had John. So John Shear, his name was, and he was the ladies' man with the expensive bags and the red BMW that he couldn't have on campus, but then realised he could. And he had like these. A lot of the characters in this book had like broad shoulders and long hair. I
I
know,
don't know how many people are walking around looking
like
like, you know, and Milo's, you know.
oh Milo. But yeah, Ian had broad shoulders and a deep tan, apparently. Wheat coloured, blow dried, and moosed perfectly hair.
He kind of
Warm,
sounds like Steve Sanders from Beverly Hills 90210, a little bit.
yeah, yeah, he did, yeah. He had like warm brown eyes as well and an arrogant smile. And he did come across like that as well. He kind of said he fancied Cath at the beginning, but then as soon as like other ladies or girls got involved, he was like just all about them all the time.
And it ended up being blonde hair and blue eyes too.
Yeah, yeah. And he dreams about Kim Basinger as well. Blonde
I
hair,
know, oh,
yeah.
that reference.
I
So
know.
old.
I know. I was like, oh, Kim Basinger. Oh, she's so good. Does she
I
still
know.
act? Is
She
she?
does. She just shows up every
Yeah,
so often. Can't remember the
yeah.
last thing she was in though.
Oh. Um, but yeah, and he had a disgusting habit of eating weird things. So the one that was mentioned was hot dogs and ice cream for breakfast.
He was like a pregnant woman.
Yeah, it really was. I
He was really
think,
strange. And they're like, you know, you're gonna get fat. He goes, nope, I'm a growing boy. And you don't see me getting any, you know, thicker from this. Or like, yeah, give it time, buddy. Get that 18-year
oh,
old metabolism.
oh, honestly, I think Jess says something like, "Your body is a temple, John, and you're tossing a wrecking ball at it," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, yeah." But yeah, but he did fancy himself. Did you like John? What did you think of John?
No.
No, I
John was
didn't.
funny at some points, but you know, because he kind of said some rude things here and there, but he was really
Yeah.
cocky. And I, I got, you know, oh yeah, I love how Jess was like, he was saying, oh, my dad's gonna drop off my convertible, and we're gonna have our wheels. We'll be able to all do something. And Jess is like, yeah, like he'll really take us around. He's gonna be dating somebody every night, and he did. That's exactly what he did. He went out with somebody new every night, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
She called
Oh.
him. I love how she could see people for who they really were, basically, for the most part,
Mm.
anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
this is why I loved Jess. This is why I thought she was such a good character because she could just see straight through people,
she was
really.
bitter, though. She was pretty bitter about, you know, she had been wronged in the past, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, John was, yeah, what a douche.
I did laugh though when he told that whole when he got dumped story.
Hmm.
I think it was he got dumped by cassette tape. So his ex had made a cassette tape playing the song
Breakup
about
songs or something.
ways to leave your lover. Now earlier on, I was chatting to Karen, and I was like, oh, it's got to be a song, and I couldn't figure out which song it was because he references this song of many ways to leave your lover. And Karen actually said, I think it's the Simon and Garfunkel song. I think it's called 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, and I actually listened to it, and I do actually think it was that song.
Really?
Yeah, so
I've never heard it.
to be dumped by that song, that's
And
like,
he's like, I thought it was kind of funny. And I'm like,
no, he just takes it on the chin. Like, I'd be like crushed. I'd be like, how embarrassing by
or
cassette
is he just
tape.
putting up a front to make himself look tough? You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah,
toxic masculinity stuff, you know?
You know, in the 90s, like, being dumped by cassette tape is like being dumped by text. Isn't it, really?
I guess. Or somebody, here, listen to this Spotify playlist.
Oh, can you imagine, like, a whole playlist just to get dumped? Like,
Yeah.
you get to the last song and it kind of dawns on you that, like, oh no.
Oh.
Dumped.
What if like the titles of the song like spelled like said, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
damn, I wish I was your lover, but we can't anymore. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's all stuff like that. Like they just use the titles of songs to create like a breakup playlist.
Like,
I would do something like that. It's sad,
well,
but
now you've given me such a good idea, Dustin, because when I'm annoyed with my husband, I'm going to make a playlist on Spotify on why he's annoyed me and spell it out.
and then when he inevitably buys you the flowers and treats you nice, you can send him another playlist, and it'll be like, when I think about you, I touch myself. And, yeah.
Oh gosh, can you imagine? Oh dear, I'm gonna have to try this playlist thing out now. You know. Yes, Shelley, do it. I'll do it, and I'll let you know how he reacts. He's probably watching this and sat and thinking, "What the hell is going on?" So Eddie's video has put, "Who was your guy's least favourite character?" Mine was Cath and John. Yeah, so for me it was John. John was until the end. John was my least, and then the
really, I
ending
mean,
took
as
over.
far as like, yeah, for sub characters, I think he's a sub character. So yeah, he would be, and so would Cath. But as far as like the main ones we were really looking at, like Ian, totally all the way.
Yeah. I think I was all Ian, and now I'm like, I don't like Ian.
All in on Ian.
Yeah.
Mm.
Karen's, but I'd be impressed if they put that much effort into to make a playlist. I would be as well, not just be like, I'd love them even more, and then I'd realise I'm dumped.
But before she gave him a tape, like a mixtape, that takes more effort than a playlist.
Oh, a mixtape.
Because you had to sit there and record it onto the tape, each individual song. Oh my God.
Oh,
those days, man, we are spoiled now. Back in the day.
Like listening to the radio and like you waiting for that song to come on just so you can like press the buttons to record.
And hopefully it didn't lead in from another song, so there was no crossover, and it just was like a clean cut at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like you got that song only, and no commercials or ads or whatever came up.
Did you ever? Do you know what I used to do as well?
What?
I used to be mad on Grease 2 and An American Tail. So I used to record the songs on my recorder off that. So I used to play the songs over and over again. So I got the perfect recording. So then,
you mean from the TV?
Yeah, from the TV. So I used to like stick the recorder right by the TV, press it at the right moment.
If I couldn't find the song or something, yeah, I would totally do that. Like, remember I told you I liked the show Ghost Rider growing up. And they didn't have a soundtrack, but I loved their songs for, different instances, like when they called a meeting or a rally or whatever, and I would record it, and I made my own soundtrack, and here's the short version, here's the long version. It's basically the score of the show, and it was really silly.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I used to record Cool Rider out of Grease 2 like over and over again on my cassette, just so that it like played on repeat, so I didn't have to rewind it.
That was a hard soundtrack to find for the longest time.
Yeah,
the Grease 2 soundtrack, but
yeah, that's why I had to record it off my TV. Oh, the memories. And nowadays, you just like click on Spotify and whatever, and
it makes me mad when I can't find something now. I'm like, what is going on in the digital age? And you cannot find a video or a song just by searching for it. I don't understand. Like I was looking for the Saved by the Bell reboots theme song just to see if I can put it on a playlist, and it's not on Spotify.
Oh, it's not there.
It doesn't make any sense. No.
Oh, It's not good, is it, really?
No.
Nowadays, you should just be able to click our fingers and it's there.
Be there for us.
You'd have to get a recorder and record it off the TV, Dustin.
Oh my God.
Well,
I can use my phone. My phone has a microphone. I could do that.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Amy's put, I used to do that with my tape recorder and try and press stop before the presenter spoke.
Yes.
Oh, the memories. Oh, I love it. Oh, I can't go back to them days. So, okay, it's time now to talk about the villain. So, I don't know how you pronounced his surname. Is it Trucker Swaps? I don't quite know how we said his surname. I think it was Trucker Swaps.
Swopes. I think Swopes.
Swopes. I wasn't sure. There was a few names in this book, and I was like, not sure how to pronounce them. So yeah, Trucker was our villain. Did you suspect that it was Trucker?
I kept thinking it was very convenient for him to not have, you know what I mean? Like, it was all these guys, and obviously the girls weren't part of it, I thought, because they were the ones getting, messed with the most. But I started thinking, he's the one that probably will be it, because it kept making, it's probably Ian. It's probably Ian. And they made it too obvious for it to be Milo. I didn't think John was just definitely a red herring, because he was hardly ever there.
Yeah.
So how would he get stuff done? So it had to be Ian or Trucker. So it didn't surprise me too much, but it was still interesting.
It surprised me only because I'd convinced myself it was Linda. So every time Linda did something, I was like, oh, there you go, looks suspicious. And like, in hindsight, I feel a bit silly because it was like obviously not Linda. But but yeah, I think so. I kind of overlooked him. But yeah, he took being a handyman to a whole other level. And he was no electrician, but he could deal with a loose wire, he said right at the start. And then I kind of liked at the end.
That makes sense. Like, he could deal with his loose wire and, up here.
Yeah. Cath's put, but how did Mrs. Coates not recognise him, as in Trucker, as Giselle's boyfriend? Yeah.
Well, he was only up there for like a day. He came toward the end of her freshman year, and that's when that girl Beth saw him arguing with her from a distance.
Yeah.
So obviously he killed her, and probably in the middle of the night snuck in and hung her up from the chandelier or the light in her room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So maybe she didn't see him, because
just never met him. Yeah.
Yeah, Giselle had kind of like dumped Trucker, really, and he just obviously was like stalking her,
right,
and stuff, wasn't he? But I thought Trucker was dodgy as fuck, and he was a crap handyman. He couldn't even find the keys. I don't know. He couldn't even find the keys to the locks on their doors to sort it out. Yes, he couldn't.
Or wouldn't.
But I think that was a convenient couldn't find the keys.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. But he kind of lived in the apartment over the garage at the back, didn't he? So he didn't actually live in the house. And he was described as like a short version of Tom Selleck, who I liked Tom Selleck back in the day, but yeah, that crushed me a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want Tom Selleck killing me.
No. And he wasn't an actual student either. So he said that he did night courses, but except on the nights where he tries to kill Jess, tries to blow up the house, goes down the river to play with his little wire. Not a youth officer.
His wire necklace.
Yeah. Playing with his wire. And got to talk about this, but he gets killed by a photograph.
It's the ghost.
Death by photograph.
It was the strangest thing, because it's under a rock that's in the creek, like, and then it flies up from under the rock, comes up out of the creek, flies into his face and covers his mouth and nose, and he's like, and somehow he can't get it off. I'm like, the thing's wet. It's got to be wet. Why can't you just tear it apart? Like, it was supernatural, and like it was pushing. So it's definitely Giselle's ghost, but
yeah,
because that must be where he killed her, was down by the creek.
Oh, do you think?
Probably.
That's where? Yeah. So then she got like payback on him.
Maybe that's why there's that makes sense. The muddy footprints. If he killed her by the creek, that's why the muddy footprints showed up, because that's what he did. He walked her back to her room and he had muddy footprints.
She was not only just trying to say it was Trucker, she was trying to say how he kind of did it as well.
Exactly, where she died and how she ended up in the room.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, Dustin. Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, I still can't get the past he got killed by a photograph. That is just like classic.
And she's just like, thanks, Giselle. She knew it was the ghost. You know?
Yeah, but before that, Jess like threw her high heels at him, like, and they just like I just imagined it like, no, leave me alone, and like I just imagined it like hitting like Captain America's chest or something, and then just go.
Yeah, like, he's just like,
She's like, oh. But then obviously the photograph gets him. I mean, that's got to go down in point horror history as like one of the best deaths, up there with one of the point horrors. Narissa will know which one I mean, but up there with the point horrors where someone gets killed by a piece of cheese. So I really did laugh. I did have to put my book down at that point because it just made me laugh. And just imagine him trying to get this photograph off his face, and then it just suffocates him.
Well, yeah. Well, it didn't suffocate him. Like Karen's saying, she says, "I think the rock to the head is what killed him when he fell over."
Oh yeah,
it did, and at least it knocked him out further. And but that was definitely incapacitating him. I guess.
Yeah. I just in my head thought I forgot about the rock because I think I was just like, that photograph is just the best thing ever. I couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant. But yeah, as I say, I didn't suspect Trucker at all. But he did the whole backstory of him and Giselle and the way they got together. Because I'm guessing he's a little bit older than.
Yeah,
Giselle.
He's got to be a couple. Well, he's around their age though, because he's got to be a couple years older.
Yeah.
Well, she was in high school, I guess her senior year, and he was working. So he said he was doing it for the summer. He was going to be towing trucks for the summer. So maybe they were both around the same age, and because she's a year older than everybody's in the house except for Milo. But so I guess he was 19 or 20. Must
have been. But their whole backstory, I know it's not the same. It just gave me a feeling of Cruel Summer. It's nothing. The storyline isn't the same or anything, right. But it just gave Cruel Summer on Prime over here.
Yeah.
It just gave me like a feel of that. I don't know why. I just couldn't stop thinking about their backstory being a bit like, I can't remember the character's name, but the blonde girl. And somebody else, Kate, and somebody else in that TV show. But it just, I don't know, it just gave me that feel.
It's like a toxic relationship that was built on something else, and then she realized it and tried to get out of it.
Yeah, because Raj just put Trucker was possessive and a stalker. Let's be real, he really, really was. I mean, writing those letters, "Your forever love," like, oh,
what?
Yeah, bit creepy. There was quite some bold fashion choices in this book as well, especially when they were going to the fall ball, and Cath was wearing it wasn't actually, well, it was described as a cloud dress, but blue cloud dress. So I just imagined her wearing this like bubbly cloud to this ball.
Like she was going to the Met Gala or something, like. Yeah,
I was like, whoa, that's like
just cotton all over herself, and she's like, she has lights underneath. Ooh, it's a thunderstorm. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, I could just imagine her like just
That'd be
like
kind of
rocking
fun,
this
actually.
cloud. Yeah, it's just the way it was described. It kind of made me laugh. Um, so yeah, just to wrap up then. So overall, what did you think? Overall, did you like this one?
I did. I did like how it mixed the supernatural ghost story haunted house stuff
Yeah.
with like a normal slashery murder mystery at the same
Mm,
time, but didn't like put too much into the ghost stuff. It just was happening here and there. It wasn't all
yeah.
about like the only thing that happened all the time was the cold room, um,
Mm,
which I think that was cool. But I like that. I think
yeah.
overall though, I think I'm happy that I read it was my first Diane Ho.
Oh,
So
was it?
yes, so I have
Oh,
both of these books, but I never had read them yet. So, and the next one's actually shorter. So I don't know. I'm probably get through
I
that one pretty quick.
I would be really interested to hear what you think of the roommate. If you do read it. I have read that one, and I remember. I know what the reveal is. I remember it really well.
Okay.
So I'd be interested to hear what you think of that.
Does it have
Uh,
similar vibes or?
yes and no. It's obviously
Okay.
set in the university. It's not actually in Nightingale Hall. It's like a separate part of the university.
Huh.
Yeah, so they kind of reference Nightingale Hall
Is it kind of like
as
what
like
they do
being
with
on the
Fear
hill.
Street? Like maybe this
Yes, I
person
think she
had
tried
stayed
to.
in Nightingale Hall at some point or
Yeah,
knew somebody who did, and then
yeah. It's she tried to
I'm
create
sorry, I
like
didn't
a
mean to yell.
whole. No, it's all right. She tried to create like a whole campus feel. So I'm sure the roommate is set like in a different dorm,
Okay.
where these like girls are starting the university, and they all become roommates, and they've all got really different personalities. But
Okay.
yeah, it is a really good one. More so when I reread it, I realised how good it was. At first, I was a bit like,
Yeah.
ah, but yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you think of that one if you do
How
get a
many
chance.
Nightmare Halls are there? There's like what, 19 or?
I think in the US, actually got more than we did over here because at a point, I can't remember how many we've got, about 15, let's say,
Yeah.
maybe 15, something like that. But they actually stopped, so we didn't actually get like the last 6 or 7 books.
Mm,
Which is a shame. And then I think they just stopped. I don't think like she came to a natural end on them. I
right.
think they just kind of just stopped. But she
Hmm.
didn't actually write all of them as well. Some of them were ghost written as well. So
Just based off
yeah,
the concept, yeah.
yeah. But I think she had like approval on the story
Maybe
and
you
that.
guys got the ones that she wrote and not the ghost written ones. I wonder.
Um, I think the roommate was ghost written. I think.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But I think it was ghost written by D.E. Atkins.
Deathkins.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it was written by her. I'm not sure about which ones she wrote, but I definitely think the roommate was not by Diane Ho. But you can kind of tell the writing style's a tiny bit different,
Yeah.
I thought.
Well, I might not
But
know
yeah.
yet until I read a little bit more Diane Ho. So
Yeah, yeah. I'll definitely check
Diane
some more,
Ho.
some more out. But I do think with Nightmare Hall, Diane Ho, or especially with the Silent Scream, I do think she did such a clever way of like making you. It sounds like we all kind of suspected someone different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like looking at the comments and like what I've said, what you've said. So we all kind of suspected someone different, and I think that is actually a credit to her writing that we all thought differently, and that is quite a feat to do in a book. I think anyway,
Yeah.
like to make you feel like everyone suspects someone different, a bit like Agatha Christie, really.
She's really good with the red herrings, it seems. She does a good
Yeah.
job of making you suspect everyone without it being too obvious that she's trying to make you suspect everyone, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I do love Diane Ho. I do think she was really, really good for the point horror series and beyond and beyond. But yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to say that Eddie was saying when I went to college, we did not have any kind of balls, at least none that I was aware of. And I think that's more of a high school thing. And then Karen retorted with, well, we had a ball at uni, but just the final year. I know that certain
Mm.
organizations would have different like events or balls, like either like fraternities and sororities or some kind of, you know, club or something like that might have
Mm.
them, but it usually wasn't like a full-on campus everybody go unless it was like a student mixer or something like that. That's the only thing they usually would have. But
Ah, yeah, yeah. But not like an actual official kind of.
not for like the whole campus, not for
Mm,
everyone. It's usually like some kind of like either all the athletic students when they would have some kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like it
yeah.
would, or all the drama kids might, I don't know. It just depends on where you went, but
Ah,
it was
okay,
usually
yeah.
some kind of club or fraternity or sorority that would put on stuff like that.
Yeah, because the fall ball in this book was like the big event, wasn't it? That it was like kind of leading up to, and then it was a bit of a letdown.
But it might have been for this campus, it might have been a full college experience because at one point John says, "Oh, they don't let us freshmen bring cars onto campus." I'm like, "Well, how
Mm,
small is this school?"
yeah.
Because I mean, you can't let everyone drive. I just that seems weird.
Mm, yeah, yeah, that did
So
seem weird.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I thought that was really strange. But other than maybe it's what it was. Maybe it's because it's such a small school, they could have a big,
Mm,
you know, ball. I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've never thought about
Yeah.
that. I just think I just took it for granted that that's what happens.
Hmm.
But because personally, I never went to university, so I'm not really sure whether that is a thing or not. So,
I went for my
um,
freshman year, and then I came back home and went to a local community college, basically.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Karen's put, yeah, ours was like a graduation ball. Oh, I
I think they
like
do
that.
alumni balls too. So almost
Oh,
like a
okay.
homecoming type thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hmm. I've learned something new today, which is always good. um, yeah, so thank you, Dustin. Thank you for like chatting with us
Thank
and
you.
chatting about the book. Like, honestly, guys, if you haven't heard of Dustin, then you're living under a rock because his podcast is like brilliant. It's like one of my favourites. So honestly, just check Dustin's podcast out. I'll put a little link when I'll put the video up so you can go
Oh, cool.
straight to the podcast.
Or you just go,
But
just link my account, and there's a link tree in my
yeah,
profile. So
yeah, I will do. I'll do that as well. But honestly, check Dustin's podcast out, and definitely as well the listener, which was Dustin's Fear Street parody, and it's absolutely brilliant. And I'm
thank you.
hoping Dustin does more. Dustin, do more!
I have
Yeah.
something I might write, and hopefully, if I can get it done fast enough, I'll hopefully not. Don't quote me on this, but hopefully, I'll get it around Halloween time. We'll see.
Oh, excited, excited. But yeah, thanks guys for joining in and like the fantastic comments and sending me like pictures throughout the month as well. Like I really love it because it just feels like a like reading the book with all you guys and I love it. So yeah, thank you. And
Thank you.
we'll do another book next month. I think I'll put the vote up on the first. I've lost track of my days this month. It's 25th today, so it will go up on the
Yeah.
first. But yeah, and I'll see you all next month. And thanks, Dustin.
Thank you. Bye,
See you
everybody.
later. Bye.
Bye.